Well, hello, everybody. There we go. I was waiting on the notification to come through because I posted this on Patreon. I'm going to ask you to forgive the light situation. This is just divinity, heaven over here. That's what we'll call that. I had to move my office, my sunroom, and it's super bright in here because it's the sunroom. That's why I haven't been doing a lot of content because anyways, I gotta buy curtains and stuff. It'll be taken care of. You can hear me, you can see me. We're gonna go with it. So I had one of those mornings, where you just like so overwhelmed and the stress just kind of gets to you. Everybody has their own tolerance for how much stuff they can handle. And everybody gets to that point where it's like, I can't right now. And like, I guess you just become emotional about it, whether that emotion is anger or sadness, or you just don't know what to do. And I was, in the movie Labyrinth, yes, that Labyrinth with David Bowie, when the girl is in that garbage lady's house, and she's got the trash bags piled up on her, and the whole area she lives in is just like this landfill, and the garbage lady keeps piling stuff on her back, and she's like, here, take this and take this and take this. I was thinking that's what it feels like sometimes, like just trapped in, like buried, like you just, how do you get out of this kind of thing? And everything always comes back to perception, like how are we perceiving this? Are we looking at it clearly, objectively? Are we able to do that? Are we even in a place where we can do that? Because sometimes you can't. You don't have the energy to do that because there's just too much stuff. You're just feeling too many different things. And it's hard to have that clear insight. So how do you get to that place? And I was thinking about how I balance those things, especially using astrology, because like everything is astrology to me. And then I was like, there is, this big Aries shift that just happened. So maybe other people would like to see that as well, and somebody else will find it useful. For like the last hour, I've been trying to plan out how I'm gonna start, how I'm gonna do the step-by-step thing, but how much personal information to divulge, really? When something triggers us, that's like a Mars reaction. Mars actually is responsible for what we think of as I'm emotional about something. I've gotten emotional about something. If you feel anger or sadness, or it's our survival instinct, it's our inner warrior, fight or flight, those types of things. So the reaction that we have, that emotional reaction, is Mars defending our Venus, or fighting for our Venus, because that's, what Mars and Venus do, is they balance each other like that. Aries and Aphrodite. So when you have like this reaction to something, you can ask yourself, like, okay, Mars is pissed. What's wrong with Venus? What did somebody do to Venus? How is Venus feeling not okay right now? Because Venus is how we're comfortable, how we're made comfortable. It's the things that we need, especially physically. If you're familiar with Maslow's pyramid, there's levels to what you need to be taken care of so you can go to the next thing. Like if you're hungry and you have to go to the bathroom, you probably can't focus on bigger goals, like even like step-by-step stuff. Like if you're hungry and you have to go to the bathroom, how are you going to get your house cleaned up? You've got to take care of those base needs before you can move up to the needs that are on the steps above. And if you need to do this and this is a mess, how are you even going to focus on like attaining higher purpose goals? Like, what am I going to do with my life kind of stuff? So I find it helpful. Let me just see if I can pull up Maslow's pyramid. I find it helpful to start there. Because here's the thing with Aries. We just had this huge shift into Aries. Let me pull up the pyramid first. Maslow's pyramid. It's a hierarchy of needs. That's what it's called. And there's like a million images of it you can find on Google. I'll just pick one. These are very stylized. We'll get this one from Google. It'll be safe. And I'll share my screen with you so you can see it. Okay. Down here at the bottom, physiological needs. Fundamental biological requirements for survival. Air, water, food, shelter, or instead of shelter, you could say like security. You need to be secure somewhere because a shelter is what gives you security and safety from whatever. Protection from exposure. You are safe and secure from that. Clothing, sleep, reproduction is on here because if we don't reproduce, then that sort of like ends society. There's no more future generations, so that makes our species go extinct. So if we want to stay alive and continue our species, that's one of the physiological needs that we have. Above that, safety needs like personal security, no violence, crime, war, health and well-being, stable environment, financial security, safety nets. Before you can worry about your financial security, you need air, you need water, you need food. Like you need things that are going to keep you alive before you can start worrying about these little things. The next one, love and belonging. Family, friendship, community. It's hard to focus on relationships when you don't have the things that you need to make sure you stay alive or to provide for yourself. If your lights are getting turned off, it's hard to say, hey, let's go on a date, that kind of thing. After love and belonging, once you have these needs taken care of, then your self-esteem kind of comes in. Your self-esteem and esteem you receive from other people, self-respect, confidence, respect, reputation, recognition, achievement. It's hard to do a good job at work when you're fighting with your spouse, or your kids have made you mad, you and your best friend are not getting along, and you see how it trickles up and down. At the top, we put self-actualization, creativity, personal growth, moral development, pursuit of meaning, purpose-driven action, peak experience, joy, transcendence, insight. You can't get to that state unless, you've gotten all these other things taken care of. So start all the way at the bottom. That's what I like to do, especially with all of this Aries energy we've got going on right now. Aries has always been a difficult season for me to be in. It's some people get like seasonal anxiety and seasonal depression, that kind of thing, and most of the time it happens during the winter. I get really anxious in the springtime. It's like it's too much. And thank God for my shrink. I love her. She said to me one time, I was like, every spring I just get very anxious, and I don't know if it's like something that happened that I don't remember, or I'm just not registering. Like I don't know what it is that's triggering this anxiety that comes over me for no reason every time the weather starts warming up and people start cutting their grass, and there's more people out in public at the mall or whatever. She's like, well, there's a lot of movement going on that you're probably picking up on. Like, all the bugs are back, the trees are growing, so there's a lot of energy and movement in the whole world and the whole environment around you, and you're probably just picking up on that. And it's kind of like, because I like things that are still and quiet. And she said, that's okay. Just, recognize it and we'll work on it or whatever. That was a few years ago, and it has gotten a lot better. But it's still like, ugh. And I know there's so many things going on right now all over the world. There's always so many things going on all over the world. But there's just it feels like the things going on right now could potentially have more consequences than usual, maybe. And a lot of people are there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people are very angry about. A lot of things that people are reacting emotionally about, or they just don't know what to do. And then we've had all these like planetary shifts with all these outer planets. Let me make that. We've got Saturn, we've got Neptune. They just came out of Pisces into Aries. I don't know that there's like a bigger shift from one space to another, because this whole wheel right here is kind of like, this is the order that you move in from one space to another, no matter what you go through. It's like the life cycle of everything. This is how that works. Aries is like the brand new big. It's, it's the big bang. It's the birth of something. It's a whole lot of energy all at once. It's like, boom, here it is. Like, boom, here's spring, And Pisces is, I won't say it's like the opposite of that, but it feels opposite sometimes, because it's the surrender, just it is what it is, let it be kind of energy. So when you're going from like this very chill place to this whoosh type thing, it's kind of like going from the lazy river to the whatever that thing, the tower of terror that like drops you really fast or like shoots you off in the air or something like that. It's a big difference. and how those things feel. So however you're feeling about the Aries space, I want to talk about some different ways you can use other energies around the zodiac to sort of figure out how you're feeling and balance that energy. Like, you might feel that the Aries is too much, like all this, like me, like it's too much motion, it's too much movement, it's just too much. I need everything to calm down and be quiet. Go sit down, go play outside. Like, go outside and play, don't come back till the lights come on, that sort of thing. Or if you feel like you're still stuck in that Pisces energy, like, I'm not ready for this yet, like, I'm just waking up in the morning, that's another Pisces to Aries sort of shift, because you're in this sleep space. My puppies are on the back porch. And then all of a sudden you're awake. So you're going from like this dream state to this wakeful state. And you might be like, I'm not ready to get up yet. I just want to lay here. 5 more minutes. So you kind of feel like you're dragging a little bit. You're having trouble getting started, getting into that Aries energy. So the first place I look at when I'm looking for balance is the opposition. And I know in astrology, oppositions sort of get a bad reputation for, oh, it's opposing this and it's opposing that. But when you balance anything, like, it's just a straight line, like a balanced beam, or even a scale is, it's this end and it's this end. So if this side of the scale is too much or not enough, in order to adjust that, yeah, you can move things up and down on it. You can add more, you can take some off. But what if you can't do that? You look to the other side, because that's the thing that it's too much or not enough of in relationship to. Opposite Aries is Libra. So Libra is the first place I look to try to find balance. And what does that even mean? Aries is very much about the self. It's about you, yourself, and you. How you need to stand up for yourself, how you need to, like, stake your claim, this is mine, how you need to initiate a process. It's like a first sort of energy. This is wherever Aries is in your chart, that's where you have to initiate something. You have to start the process. You have to give birth to it. And you might have to fight some battles to do that. Leadership, that sort of thing, like, you might have to be the one to make the stand, to lead the charge. Libra, on the other hand, is about how can we negotiate? How can we compromise? Not so one of us loses less, but so both of us are happy with the situation. Like, both of us will benefit from this situation. How can we, instead of like one or both of us are missing out on something, we're both having to give up something in order to do this, how can we both get what we want and be happy with the outcome? Which is crazy, because Libra is like the balancing sign, and I'm talking about how to balance these energies. Anyways, I don't want my Mercury to get going crazy. Stay on topic, Mercury. So with Libra, Libra is ruled by Venus. The ruling planets of each sign will tell you what part of yourself to use to get into this space. If we want to be able to enter this, go from this like fiery, passionate, wild burst of energy sign, whether you need to calm that energy down or you need more of that energy, the first place you go to is Libra. How can we balance everything out? Libra is an air sign, which tells you connection. Air is how we connect to ourselves, to the world around us. It's our cognitive ability. So the first thing we need to be able to do is connect and think, right? But it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet that feels. It's in charge of Maslow's pyramid over here. Venus is the one that tells us we need these things. Venus helps us calm down because we have what we need. Venus gets you to homeostasis. So when we've got Libra ruled by Venus, that's how can we connect to something outside of us that brings us back to homeostasis. Because air is a masculine sign, an external sign, so you're going to be looking outside of you to do the thing with Venus in this sign. If it was Taurus, Taurus is earth. That's a feminine or internal element. So that's Venus internally. That's connecting with something inside of you and how that feels and all the hierarchy of needs type things internally. Now we're looking for these things outside of us. So let me stop sharing for just a second. When I am feeling anxious, whether you're feeling like self-conscious or it's like social anxiety, whenever you're in a situation where you are very anxious, usually it's because you are focused too much on yourself. Do I have food stuck in my teeth? Are they looking at me because there's something wrong with me? What are they thinking about me? How are they feeling about me? How is the world seeing me right now? It's a me. If you can focus outside of yourself, it brings that anxiety level down. And since Venus is about physical things that feel good to us, the five senses, sort of like if you can, okay, I'm in my sunroom right now, okay? And I have spent plenty of time feeling overwhelmed with this light situation and getting things just right in here. But if you can stop for a second, okay, objectively, how do I want it to look? How do I want this environment outside of me to smell? How do I want it to sound? How do I want it to taste? How do I want it to feel, the textures of it, like physical feel? I know I'm not going to be like licking my sunroom, but that's sort of, it goes along with it. If you can implement these things outside of you, if you can find them outside of you, then it will balance that Aries energy. Changing something little, you could like get some air freshener that you like and spray it. It's going to help balance that Aries energy. It's either going to calm it down if it's feeling too much, or it's going to ramp it up. It might, like, music that you listen to, play some music that gets you going. It gets, if you need to go to the gym and work out, that's kind of an Aries thing. So let's play some workout music. If you're trying to, get motivated to do whatever you want to do, music is great for that, especially because music is a Venus thing, like a Venus Mercury thing, I think. It feels like it to me. Music feels like Venus and Mercury. Which is great because Mercury has a lot to do with neurology, and Venus and Mercury always work well together. Venus and Mercury are the mind-body connection. So you can that's why when we're uncomfortable in something physically, like my clothes are uncomfortable, my shoes are too tight, this chair is uncomfortable, it makes it hard to focus because we're so worried about how we feel. They work together. They just go together on more than just the physical plane, right? So that's the first thing I look at is Libra, and what are some Venus things that I can do to my immediate environment outside of me, not my internal environment, but my outside environment that will help. And what is the thing in this outside environment that I don't like, that my Venus doesn't like, and that's making Mars be like, oh, somebody messing with Venus? Okay, what do I need to do? You see what I'm saying? If you have any questions, let me know. Another place you can look because here's the thing with that, and here's where aspects and angles start to really come into play. Before we can do this Aries thing, I wish it wasn't Aries. It might be easier with another sign, but we'll go with it. If you look 2 signs back, if you move, like, it's called a sextile, it's 60 degrees, because each sign is 30 degrees. So if you go back to Aquarius, you got to do the Aquarius stuff before you can do the Aries stuff. Here's another example of that. Let's go back to Libra over here. Libra is all about balance, right? Balancing yourself with another. 2 signs back is Leo, and Leo is about expressing yourself. Well, how are you going to be in this one-on-one connection, this partnership with something, if you don't know how to express yourself, if you're unable to express yourself, if there's something out of whack with how you express yourself, how you feel about self-expression? You see what I'm saying? On a woo-woo level, Leo, you can think of Leo as your ego self. It's the outward expression of your personality, right? So if you've got your ego and your subconscious and you want to unite those, Libra is where they are united. How are you going to unite something if you haven't even acknowledged it and allowed it to be? You see what I mean? It's like trying to integrate your subconscious when you haven't even tapped into your subconscious yet. You got to tap in your ego as well so you can integrate that. Libra is about integration more than anything. Libra is like when you build a bridge, the bridge is perfectly balanced. That's Libra. All the little cables and pillars and everything, they're all totally integrated with each other, balanced. What do you think? So with Aries, Like, that's another thing you can think of, because what I'm showing you with these aspects, going back 2 signs, going back 60 degrees, you can use that on the Aries side, and you can use that on the Libra side when you're balancing. Because if you can do the Leo thing, if you can express yourself, then you're going to know what sort of thing you want, because your environment should be an expression of you. So then you can balance the things outside of you with what you want to see expressed in your life. Leo also trines Aries, and that helps that energy flow more. It's kind of like, if you can think of these angles and these aspects as strings, like in a spider web or a dream catcher, that's how I always think of them. You've got these going over here. All right, there's one connecting Aries and Libra, and then you take another one from the middle and you pull it toward Leo, or you can move it from Aries to Leo or from Libra to Leo, and you sort of get a feel for like how they're pulling one sign to the other sign if you wrap them around the outside and like tie them off, like if you were making a dream catcher. I guess, sorry, I just had a weird thought that, like, I guess the goal is to be like Spider-Man. He just connects the spider webs to this place and that place, and he flows because he knows, like, where to shoot the string, what angle to shoot it at, what to connect it to, so he moves the way he wants to. That's kind of, we're going to Spider-Man our way through these aspects. That's what you want to do. You want to Spider-Man your way through the energy. Where do I need to connect to make it work? Sorry, that was weird and random, but that's how I see it. So like I was saying, it's hard to do the Aries thing until you do the Aquarius thing if we're going around like this. And because there is this, like, my puppies are really going nuts. I might have to stop and take care of them. It's almost like a breath, like this is the starting line. So when you're running laps, this is the next lap that you've started. It makes it a little more difficult to move when you're going all the way around. You start getting to the end to connect the previous energies to this Aries energy, but it works. Aquarius is fixed mentality. It's, your mind, not like closed-mindedness, but like your mind is still. Like the goal for meditation, depending on what kind of meditation you're doing, but you want to get to a place where your mind is your own. You're not easily influenced by societal conditioning or monkey brain or any little distraction, the puppies outside, that sort of thing. Get your mind here. Once you do this, it makes that Aries energy so much easier to deal with because you're not as reactive. You're controlling your perception more. I am going to have to stop here, guys, because my puppies need something. Either they just want attention, they're on the back porch right now, or, yeah, somebody's whining a lot. If you like this, let me know, and I'll continue this. I'll do more with how to balance stuff because I really get into it. There's so many other ways. Like, that's just one of the simplest ways. Whatever space you're in, whatever one of these spaces, if you're feeling it too much or you're not feeling it enough. Whether you're trying to calm it down or you're trying to build it up. And you're having trouble doing that. Look to the opposite sign in the zodiac. And then from there, you can move 2 signs back, 2 signs clockwise, backwards, and say, have I really taken care of this energy? Well, no, that would be counterclockwise. My bad. You know what I'm saying? With Aries, you go back 2 signs to, yeah, that's clockwise. What am I thinking? You go back 2 signs and say, have I taken care of this thing? That will support the space that you're in, that you're trying to either calm down or build up. So you go across, and then you can go back 2 signs. And you can go back 2 signs from the place you're in or from the place that's opposite that. And it'll help you work those out. And I will talk more about that later. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know if it was super confusing because I was a little distracted here the last few minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. And let me go handle these puppies. I'll see you guys later.